Welcome in to the Husker Women's Basketball Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket.
Good afternoon. Welcome in to the Nebraska Women's Basketball Postgame Show. Nick Sainert with you, DP with me as well. DP, hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hold on one second. For some reason, let's try this. All right. How's it going, DP?
Hey, apparently it's going better now. Yeah, it's better now. There we go. Well done.
Nebraska wins 73-59 over Northwestern. They get their 22nd win of the season. Yes, 22-7. They finish out the regular season. They get a big win on Senior Day over a Northwestern team that came in with a 16-10 record. With this win today, Nebraska locks up the 6th seed in the Big Ten tournament, which starts Wednesday. Nebraska won't play until the late game on Thursday evening. I believe they'll play the winner of the 11 seed versus the 14 seed in the late game on Thursday evening. DP, let's bring you in real quick. I mean, feel free, I should say this, feel free to chime into the show all hour long. We do have a little bit of an update here on our text line. There's going to be a new number temporarily for our Starter Heyman text line. It's going to be 402-999-4620. The Honda of Lincoln hotline, however, stays the same, 402-464-5685. So if you text in, send us your name with it so we can give you a shout out and get your input that way. As always, feel free to chime in on the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream as well, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And then you can hit me and DP up on Twitter as always. Indeed. All right, DP, what were your initial thoughts on Nebraska's 73-59 win here at home?
Well, just to add to what you were talking about, we did figure out earlier today with the Sunday Morning Pancake Show that folks were active in the stream room, on Streamyard, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, to get their comments out there, and we can interact that way. And we apologize for the inconvenience. It's radio. It's how this works. Necessary. Look, if we had said before the season this team would finish 22-7, we would throw confetti in the air. We would pop champagne. We would probably march up and down O Street. So congratulations. 22 wins. That resets the standard for the program. I found it intriguing at the energy that Jazz played with tonight. That was early season pre-wall Jazz Shelley. She seemed to have the ball in her hand a little bit more. She was purposeful in her attacks. It wasn't sort of the free-for-all that Jazz can kind of fall into. But this was organized structure to what she was doing. Her attacks were purposeful. Second and third passes were probably better today than they have been, in a while. So it looked like the system that they said it was. It was good. The shot selection was on time and on purpose. And look, you're on a win streak headed to the Big Ten tournament. You get a game off. So you don't have to go through that early grind. And then you're going to get a preferred matchup against a team that you've beaten already. So, it's lining up well. It lines up well. Now you just have to take another step and prepare yourself for the UFC that is Big Ten women's basketball tournament.
Yeah, and to your point, Jazz Shelley, really strong game from her this afternoon. 13 points alone in the third quarter. So that was really impressive. Nebraska did a really good job. They overcame, I know they had more than 10 turnovers in the first half. And so that was kind of something that going into halftime, it was still a really, really tight game going into the locker room at the end of two quarters. And so at the end of the game, you look back and they still had 18 turnovers, which Amy Williams will be the first one to tell you that's too many, but they found ways to overcome that and still win by 14 points over a team that is 16-11 overall and going to be a top 10 seed in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the thing's done. You don't want to go into the postseason with an 18 turnover ball game. Yeah. That doesn't answer the question. It at least seemed as though on a night like this where Jazz has such high ball usage that she only had 2 turnovers against the 5 assists. 17 points on 11 shots is kind of the lane that you want for your guards. I thought the bigger story was Izzy Bourne. She looked like once again the Izzy of last year, where she was getting shots in space. She was comfortable in getting her release off. She stopped thinking. Like tonight, she looked like she was simply reacting to game circumstance. She was not thinking. Open threes. She was 3 of 3 from behind the arc. No hesitation. I think that's a key way for this team to advance. She was good on the boards. Markowski was better. Craven's again off the bench, giving you 6 and 5 in 21 minutes, which seems to be the new standard for her. So look, 18 turnovers is a thing we'll circle. They had 19 assists on 26 shots. The 18 turnovers is still the number that makes you lean away a little bit. And then the other number to circle for me, 70% from the free throw line. The Big Ten tournament is going to be a meat grinder. Teams aren't going to allow Nebraska to just catch and shoot. They're going to run them off, be a little bit more physical, especially in the paint. If Markowski goes 0 for 2 from the free throw line or 2 of 4 from the free throw line, they're going to bang her and make her go to the free throw line. They're not going to allow her just to make the little snow birdie. So 9 of 18 from 3 is the number we're looking for. 50% from field goal, what we're looking for. In order for them to win games 1 and 2 in the Big Ten Conference Tournament, the free throws are going to have to be at 80%, and the turnovers have to be right at that 9 or 10 mark for this team to do what they want to do going forward.
I was actually going to talk to you about the 3-point shooting because, like you said, 9 of 18 from beyond the arc here tonight or this afternoon. They shoot 50% as a team through the 4 quarters of play, and 5 of those threes came from Izzy Bourne and Markowski combined. How important and how encouraging is that when a big is able to stretch the floor like that, and a team like, I don't know, Maryland or Iowa is going to have to worry about that?
I don't think it's going to affect Maryland. Iowa, it'll affect.
Maryland's top.
It'll drag Zingano into that space that she doesn't want to be into. But Maryland's got three bigs that are long, athletic, quick, who are really solid closeout defenders. Iowa's better on ball, but Maryland's length is a problem. But ideally, you're not going to see Maryland for a while. Like I don't want to see Maryland until I think the way it plays out, Michigan lost today, so Maryland may have moved ahead of them into that 3 spot that would face the number 6 Huskers. So we're not real happy about that.
There.
Look, we can say that it doesn't matter who it is. Oh, it matters. It matters. You walk into an Iowa game a little bit more with a little different level of confidence than you would against Maryland. But that's assuming that Maryland gets their stuff together as well. They've had some ups and downs the last couple of ball games. Look, bigs who can shoot, I think it's good to use them to draw people into that space. Like I want to drag the bigs out there. But what I think it actually allows them to do is to flash to the high post and then break down and post up in the lower box to get some work in. So, it's good to have it on film that, again, the last game of the season, you're 5 of 6 from 3 and 13 of 20 from the field, 17 boards. The turnovers, again, I like that Izzy didn't give the ball away tonight. Markowski's got to work on it. Hyvie's got to work on it. Bella Craven's got to work on it because they're going to have the ball in their hand. And in Big Ten tournaments, the big work in space, under traffic, that's where turnovers happen. That's where empty possessions happen. And that's where Big Ten tournament dreams go to die. So protecting the ball, you're not going to win in the Big Ten if those 3 give you 13 turnovers again. It's not going to happen.
Once again, Nebraska women's basketball wins 73-59 over Northwestern. They lock up the 6th seed in the Big Ten tournament. The tournament starts Wednesday afternoon or morning, but Nebraska won't play until Thursday because they get that first round bye that we would love the Husker men's team to have. They get that first round bye on the women's side of things. So,
you're silly. You're silly.
Yeah, exactly. Silly. Hey, we will have a men's basketball post-game show tonight. Hopefully, it can be exciting as this one.
What's the earliest the men can play in the tournament? That's
I wonder if it's 9 or 11 a.m. It's one of those.
That is not exactly the season we were expecting for a one. Look, to have women's basketball have the kind of season they put together on the floor is important for this athletic department. It's necessary for this athletic department to see success in one of the major programs. It may not be where they expected it to be. I know that in the preseason, these weren't conversations people were expecting to have about this basketball team. 22-7 was not in the realm of conversation just because we didn't have recent history to tie to it from this group. Amy's first year, she got that 20-plus win season. I'm not sure anybody was expecting it this year. Bravo to them for getting there. But now it's, there is an advantage in knowing everybody that you're going to face. Now it's execution time. Like this week, when you go to Indy, it's not about scheme. It's not about additional talent levels. It's not in play. No. This week now officially becomes execution time. You've got look. Everybody will have same situation. Everybody will understand what all the teams do. The scouting is in repeat at this point. Look, 50% from three. That's a number to circle.
And it's not like they were 2 of 4. I mean, they hit 9 threes.
18 threes, and I only can recall 2 that I would have kind of leaned away from. Mm-hmm. So good shot selection, better spacing today. Spacing will be a key for this team. Their littles will give them an opportunity to do that. Pay attention to the rotation. It got a little shorter again.
Yeah, I did notice
a little shorter again, so yeah. Amy's going to rely on a certain group of players. I'm not going to go too deep past that. I mean, we've seen some of the playing time get cut, minutes get cut, but that's fine. So just understand that will work fine in game 1 in the tournament. Game 2, got to buckle up. Got to fatten your neck a little bit and decide you're going to fight your way through, because whoever you face in that one, they're bringing a big. They may bring several. They're bringing really good on-ball defenders and off-ball defenders to close out. So, but if Nebraska execute, they'll be just fine. We just never quite know who's going to be the shot makers that night.
One of those players that saw a little bit of an increased role of minutes, Michael Caton, didn't find the scoring column, but had 3 rebounds and assists and 12 minutes of play. That's one of those players that saw more playing time. Didn't see as much of Kendall Moriarty as we're used to. Ruby Porter got in for a brief moment during the first half, I believe, and then may have saw some time in the second half as well. But I want to go back to kind of that Big Ten discussion of once you get there, it's you know what to expect in a certain sense. Is there a certain sense of free play? Like they won't press or stress so much, knowing that I know you're not supposed to look forward to the NCAA tournament, but knowing that it's not your last game, or where's that? Or am I way off on that?
No, this team's not built to look forward, look past people.
Yeah,
they're not built for it. I think from what they do, the benefit of tournament play is that experienced guards carry you in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, when you look at the top 6 teams in the Big Ten Conference, they're all senior or veteran guard heavy. They've got the bigs as well, but look, they've got guards who will handle the ball the most, will get them out of situations, and quite frankly, will get them out of press breaks. So the things that happen to Nebraska won't happen to them. Nebraska's got to get a firm grasp on the press break. A lot of the turnovers tonight came from that. They've got a couple of days to put together to revisit the press break package. It's real simple in what they do: ball movement to space, having a big in the middle of the floor, always having an outlet behind you, because everybody that negative pass is one that teams don't normally defend, and then to quickly get into transition when they get across midcourt. You can't get to the big and then pause hold the ball, allow a defense to reset. They've got to push from that point forward. But the bigs here just aren't that comfortable in putting it on the floor or hitting a shooter that's on the wing. That's the first thing. The full sprint for me, what I'd like in this press break is press any ball handler, any small that catches the ball. I want them in a full sprint to the front of the rim. Like if I want to punish them, the front of the rim is where I'm going to punish them. Middle of the floor is where you live. Stay out of the corners because you want to be there, but you don't want to get your mail there. If Nebraska decides to send their passers and their ball handlers to the front of the rim, they'll be able to make some teams pay in this press break. They haven't done it so far, and that's been the problem.
All right, DP, we got about time for one more question before we're going to take our first break. Let you go since you still have a post-game show to do tonight.
Shut up.
Hey, I just want to make sure you know. I don't want you to forget. There is some encouragement because Fred Hoiberg's one win on the road came at Penn State a couple years ago. They play at Penn State tonight. There could be some similarities there or a correlation there that they just play really well at Penn State. Okay.
Calling for an upset? Is this your night?
Would it be an upset? Is that where we're at? Upset of Penn State?
Oh yes, clearly. Oh, it definitely would be an upset. Let's be clear. Full transparency. Yes, indeed. Huskers win tonight against Penn State would be an upset, and we will act accordingly. Look, I will throw confetti in the air if they can go to Happy Valley and get a win.
That's awesome. All right, so Alexis Markowski, you said, needs to limit the turnovers, but gets her 6th double-double of the year. 16 points, 12 rebounds this afternoon against Northwestern. It's got to be a lock for Big Ten Player of the Year or Freshman of the Year. Excuse me.
Nebraska will win both, men's and women's.
Oh yes, for Freshman of the Year, yeah,
men's and women's. Like again, I'm willing to accept small victories, but if we said before the season that Nebraska would win both the men's and women's Freshman of the Year, we would throw confetti and drink orange juice. So I'm certainly going to do that here. Look, her advancement is impressive. Her energy level is impressive. Now you got to go to work because she'll be a target in Indianapolis. Like there's no let's be clear. Teams have figured out that this Nebraska team is tough to handle when Markowski gets it going. Look, the littles, you all know what they do and how they do. But my goodness gracious, if I'm the big team, look, that's how Izzy Bourne gets 20 and 5 because you're focusing on Markowski. So, look, young lady, quite the season, quite the finish, exceptional growth. But this is where legacies are built. Yeah, this is where legacies are built. You got to go to Indy and get your work in. I don't have any doubt whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I can imagine her and Dad going to the lab and working on some things before
already begun.
So, hey man, get it in, get it ready. So, yeah, it'll be a good weekend. It'll be a good week in Indy. I'm excited, and then we've got to quickly turn our eyes to the high school state tournament. We got some work to do, you and I. We will be tired, busy souls for a week or so.
No better way. And it all starts this week, like you said, with Big Ten women's basketball. Also, Big Ten wrestling is in town. Excited to check that one out. And district and state basketball, like DP said. All right, DP, we'll let you go. Appreciate you hanging out with me for the first segment. They will hear from you later tonight after Nebraska men's basketball.
Shut up.
That is DP. Thank you, sir.
See ya.
When we come back, we will continue to dive a little bit more into the box score, some of the stats from each of the players. Once again, Nick Sander with you on the Nebraska Women's Basketball postgame show. Nebraska wins 73-59 over Northwestern. They get their 22nd win of the season as they close out the regular season at home today. It's the most wins that they've gotten, including their ones in the postseason, because remember, this has been a team that's went to the WNIT. They've also went to the NCAA tournament one year under Amy Williams in her second year when she got 21 wins in postseason combined. So definitely progressing as they go along up to climbing the ladder into developing this program. So a lot of things to be excited about. Once again, Nebraska wins 73-59 over Northwestern. They improved to 22-7 on the year and 11-7 in the conference. When we come back, we'll dive into the box score. We will also look at some scores around the women's basketball landscape, not only just in the conference, but in the Big Ten. We'll look ahead to the Big Ten women's basketball tournament that begins on Wednesday. We'll do all of that and more. We're here until 6 p.m. or so, a little bit before. We'll do all that next up on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour, and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
In a world where fun and cash prizes collide, one game explodes to the forefront. Cash Blast from the Nebraska Lottery. Non-stop excitement, a winning thrill ride, and starring you. Until April 12th. Play 2x2 weekly for a chance to win $5,000 or $500. And if your ticket was a 7-day draw, your prize is doubled. Don't miss it. Cash Blast playing at a lottery retailer near you. 2x2 top prize odds 1 in 105,000.
Attention anyone standing near a mud puddle. Trucks and Bucks is back, so take cover. The Nebraska Lottery's most popular scratch game is roaring down the road again. And this year, we're giving away 8 blue 2022 Ford F-150 XLT Super Crew Flex Fuel trucks. So buy a $2 Trucks and Bucks ticket today. You could win a new Ford F-150 and make a real splash in your neighborhood. Ford F-150 is a registered trademark owned and licensed by Ford Motor Company. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. There's a lot of CBD shops opening up in Lincoln, but Trek CBD focuses on quality above all else. Their products are from local CBD company Nico Farms and are third-party laboratory tested. They have products that can help with stress, anxiety, pain relief, and more, and have a wide selection of Delta 8, including Serene 8. Trek CBD is locally owned and operated. Go visit Scott or Shannon at their 84th and Highway 2 location, or go online to Trek CBD with free delivery. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And things have obviously been pretty challenging lately with new vehicles, with all the microchip and supply chain issues, but things continue to loosen up as Koppel gets more and more new vehicles in each and every week. We've had many customers also custom order their vehicles. So if you don't see what you want in our current inventory, we can put an order in to get exactly what you want. So go online, reserve your new vehicle at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to the Husker women's basketball postgame show on 93.7 The Ticket.
(73-59) your final score. Nebraska improves to 22-7 on the year, 11-7 in Big Ten conference play. They finished the season 16-1 at home, so protecting the home floor. Their only loss was in January, I believe, back on January 22nd to Iowa, which I want to read this. I need to find it again. So Iowa has a player named Caitlin Clark. You probably have heard of her. She is phenomenal. And she also has that kind of the mentality or the tenacity of a player that makes opponents' fan bases I wouldn't say dislike her. I would say get annoyed by her because of how good and talented she is. It's one of those players where you throw up your arms and say you can't stop her. She's pulled up from the logo nonchalantly when they're down, when Iowa is up by 8 points, and she's drained it. And Iowa beat Michigan, kind of DP and I talked about that a second ago. Iowa beat Michigan earlier today, and now Michigan falls to third in the Big Ten standings. Remember, Nebraska also beat Michigan early on in January as well. But listen to this. Caitlin Clark for Iowa. I want to shout her out real quick. She dropped 38 points, 6 rebounds, and 11 assists this afternoon against Michigan. It's the 18th straight game that she's had at least 15 points and 5 assists. The only D1 players in both women's and men's basketball with longer streaks over the last 20 seasons are Trae Young and Ja Morant. Both players are in the NBA. So just a phenomenal talent that is Caitlin Clark. And Nebraska, if they win a couple games, there's a good chance they will see Iowa in the Big Ten tournament that starts Wednesday. All right, so just before we get finished up here, I want to run through a little bit of programming stuff. Nebraska men's basketball, they travel to Happy Valley or to Penn State this evening. They play at 6 o'clock, so they get things tipped off in about 10 minutes or so. Penn State beat Nebraska, Penn State is the only team that Nebraska has ever beaten on the road under Fred Hoiberg. And so we'll see if they can make it 2-30 on the road under Fred Hoiberg instead of 1-31. But immediately following that horn, like normal, we'll have the men's basketball postgame show with Bach, DP. Those two guys will be breaking down what we hope to be a Nebraska win ahead of their Big Ten tournament. I believe that starts next week. And so since they're a week apart, but let's focus on Nebraska women's basketball, 73-59. Let's run through a little bit of the box score here. We have about 4 minutes left or so. So Izzy Bourne, really impressive tonight. 20 points, 7 of 10 from the field, perfect from beyond the arc, hit all 3 of her threes that she took, was 3 of 4 from the line, had 5 boards, and in 26 minutes of play, she was one of the starters this evening, and she led all scorers. Jazz Shelley, she drops 13 points in the third quarter alone, adds to her total, which was she finished with 17 points on the afternoon, 6 of 11 from the field, 3 of 6 from deep. She was perfect from beyond the arc in that third quarter. Really, really strong performance coming out of the locker room at halftime. She finishes with 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals as well. And then what we all expect to be the Big Ten freshman of the year, Alexis Markowski, 16 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc, had 12 rebounds. Once again, she finishes with 16 points and 12 boards. Good for her 6th double-double on the season. And it has to be good enough for Big Ten freshman of the year. Has to be. And like DP and I were talking about in that first segment there, if it's going to be crazy because Nebraska, both men's and women's basketball, will have the freshman of the year in the conference. And we can see how it can be positive on one side, right? Women's basketball, Alexis Markowski has helped lead them. I wouldn't even say that she's led them on her own because it's been a lot of strong play from players like Izzy Bourne, and Allison Widener stepped up, and Jazz Shelley has made an immediate impact after transferring over here from Oregon. And so, like, I wouldn't say that Alexis Markowski has by herself led Nebraska to this 22-7 record, but definitely played a crucial part in them locking down the 6th seed in the Big Ten tournament this week. Let's look ahead at the Big Ten tournament. So I'll try to explain this as easy as possible here, just to give you guys a layout of how this all rolls on. So the bottom 4 seeds, get going on Wednesday. The first game between the 12 and 13 seed is at 1 p.m. And then the second game between the 11 and 14 seed starts about 3:30 p.m. Now, Nebraska, since they locked down the 6th seed this afternoon, they will play the winner of the 11 seed versus the 14 seed. So they do get a first round bye, which is really, really exciting for Amy Williams, really encouraging for them. And then they will not have to play. Like I said, they won't have to play on Wednesday. So they will play the winner of, as it stands right now, Penn State and Illinois. Penn State is the number 11 team, or the 11th best team in the Big Ten standings right now. Illinois, 14th. Nebraska beat Penn State at home, but lost to them just a couple days ago on the road. Now, one thing to remember about Penn State is we have about a minute and a half left here, or excuse me, a minute here. One thing about Penn State, Nebraska was up 13 at Penn State on the road in the fourth quarter, and they let it fall. So, if Penn State can beat Illinois, we're going to have an intriguing matchup on Thursday. That game, the first game Nebraska will play, is going to be following the game that starts at 5:30 p.m. So you imagine about 8 o'clock. Who knows? Could be later if they're off schedule all day long. But at the end of the day, Nebraska is 22-7. Best season under Amy Williams in her 6th season. They finish 11-7 in the conference following the regular season after their 73-59 win against Northwestern at home this afternoon. That is all for us today. Stick around in about 2 hours. Following the men's game, DP and Bach got you at the postgame. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Hi, Sean.